Happy Friday. I've got a very cool Galax Lick to show you a variation of what we did last week. I'm going to give you the bird's eye view, 92 BPM. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's a much more natural loop than what we did last week. Think of last week's episode as sort of a primer for the Galax Lick. We're getting down and dirty into Galax Lick patterns that you can actually plug into your tunes. This has 2 Galax Licks followed by the fanning of the 5th string, which is probably the trickiest aspect of the pattern. At least for me, when I was learning this pattern, I struggled to keep that 5th string in time. So you want to pay close attention to that. Remember, with the Galax Lick, the trick is that initial 5th string is going to hit the downbeat. Now that fanning, the first 5th string note of that pair of 5th string notes is tagging the downbeat. So make sure that that is happening in your playing. So what's going on here? Let me give you the nitty gritty. You're going to put your ring finger on the 5th fret of the 1st string just to get set. That gives you a unison G with your 5th string G. Make sure that's in tune. Then you're going to do your pattern. I'll play it for you slow. Now you'll notice when I fan that 5th string, I break with our usual rule with the right hand technique, and I separate out my thumb a little bit so I can get that nice smooth 5th string on top of 5th string sound. Normally we don't want to break apart the thumb and the downstroke. We don't want that to become a separated pattern, or it will devolve into sort of a quasi-picking thing. And I see, this kind of thing where that thumb starts flying and floating, and it's flying all around, and it's really, the claw hammer stroke is not working as a unit. Normally we want this to be a unit, right? Working together as like a hammer, like a claw hammer, a hammer that retains its shape. But in this instance, it is okay to separate out that thumb just a little bit, and I'll show you why. Let me bump it up to 112. That's a reasonable tempo. And watch what my thumb does to get that fanned 5th string at this speed. 1, 2, 1, 2. If I were to keep my right hand as a solid unit like we normally do in claw hammer, I would be forced to move the whole hand, the whole apparatus to grab that fanned 5th string, and that just isn't economical. It's going to throw your time off, and I struggled with this when I was first learning how to fan. So my solution was to anchor my right hand a little bit and separate out that thumb. There are going to be additional patterns where we are playing more notes than just 2 with the fan string. So we're working towards something big here. So make sure that that 5th string and the thumb can kind of separate out a little bit just on the fanned portion. Now, make sure that you are also adding just a little bit of tension to the arpeggio, because you don't want this. You don't want a brush stroke. We are not brushing, we are playing the Galax Lick. There's a huge difference. It sounds subtle on its face, but the more you listen to this, the more it will become apparent that the arpeggio, that separation of notes, is the critical sort of intro to the Galax Lick 5th string on the downbeat. So that's it for this week. We're going to keep with the Galax Lick. I'm going to show you some crazy patterns and how to integrate it into an actual tune next week, so stay tuned. Have a good one.